Hi, I'm Mike Pollock. That's what I do. Thank you so much. And I have these toys, which is, I have videos, but they're much better in person. This is the Menacing Mummy.
Happy Halloween! One scary mummy coming through.
And he walks around and just does that fun. Cute one here for the kids. Shut up.
What are you dreaming about?
And if those are too classy for you, everyone's favorite. Everyone's favorite. Is it off? Wait. Pay no attention, that bear behind the curtain.
I just love enjoying the quiet, great outdoors with you, son. Watch out, son. After the thunder comes the rain.
Any questions? So that's that. Let's answer some questions. We've been having success with forming a line for questions, so I guess we'll form a line. We can do an audience mic. Is this one what it is? Take one, pass it down. What? That's not how it works.
Can't pass it down.
No. And you know, we're going to watch the Audacity recording because that's probably going to be very interesting. Hi.
Hi. So, other than Eggman, what is a role that you've done that you are really, really proud of?
That's so hard to answer. There are so many because I'm always doing weird and different stuff. Some of the commercial stuff, because it's stuff that actually airs on TV, and I'll see it randomly or hear it on the radio. So the Hooters stuff, the Nando's stuff, the commercial gigs, only because for the rest of the voice acting community, especially in New York, commercials are a big deal. And it's been a dream growing up. Oh, I want to do commercials one day, and now I'm doing them. So just the commercial stuff.
Okay.
Cool, thank you. Pass it down, please.
That's hilarious.
This thing on? Thanks. Since we first of all, I meet you. I've been a fan of yours ever since like Sonic X came back in 2003.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Can I get a what evil invention should I use this time?
What evil invention should I use this time? Thank you so much. Hi, questions, please, questions. Step right up.
May I ask you about some of your roles outside of like Sonic?
Please.
How did you get affiliated with Studio Brincado and their roles in like Ratatouille?
The short answer is I auditioned and they booked me. It's a guy who runs a studio. He just dubs stuff. That's his job. I'll take that. And he dubs stuff, and he buys the rights to be able to dub stuff. And he often puts in the lowest bid, which sometimes is what gets him the job. And he has to cast for stuff and just fill up the empty spaces. So that was one of them. He said, "I've got a thing for you to audition for." So I did, and he liked it, and that's that. Question. Hi.
Hi there, my name is Tiana Camacho.
Hi.
And I've loved your work for a very long time.
Thank you so much.
So I wanted to ask, it's a sort of a two-part question. One, if you could give yourself advice 10 years ago about doing this for a living, what would it be? And two, do you have your cup holders for sale?
I don't have them with me, but they're on the website.
They are? Okay.
Yes, it's mike.com/shop. You're welcome. Yeah, my advice to myself would have been do it sooner. When I was growing up, my first love was radio and theater, and this is a combination of radio and theater. And I chose radio as an early career because of the slightly steadier paycheck than the life of a theater person, of being in a show until it closes or being in a gig until it ends. Radio, as it turned out, not only can be rife with firing, and I've been fired a couple times because everyone gets fired in radio, but radio has taken a turn for the worse corporate-wise, and the fun has gone out of it. So eventually radio had had enough of me, and as it happens, I was laid off for a couple of months, and I said, well, perhaps now's a chance to find that fallback career of mine, send out some demos, started booking some anime stuff, some cartoon stuff at 4Kids, and then the second time radio fired me and said, I don't need you anymore, and off I went. So yeah, I wish I'd started sooner because I might have ended up in LA doing more LA stuff. Question, please.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Evan. I appreciate your work a lot.
Thank you.
So I originally had 2 questions, but you kind of did answer my first one. So the second one, how do you keep yourself from burning out, if that's even possible in your field work?
There's, I guess, a 2-part question. There's mentally and physically. The physical part is quite simple if there's a lot of yelling in a video game or something, or too many attacks. I can do that once or twice and it's fine. If it's 4 hours of that, then by the end of it I'm more or less like this and it's not good. There's really no way around that because that's what they're paying you for. We brought you to scream your brains out. We'll try not to make it too hard on you. Thanks. But that only helps to a certain degree. Hydration is important. Other than that, voice rest. Just shut up for a couple days and then you're more or less fine. The burning out emotionally and mentally is more of a challenge because I'm a freelancer. All the actors are all freelancers. Our gigs last for a few hours at a time. They may be recurring gigs. They'll have us back hours and hours in the future. But other than that, I've got to keep my schedule full for the sake of grabbing the money to buy food, clothing, and shelter, but not feeling also like I'm wasting my time because I'm not working when I should be working. So I'm constantly auditioning when I'm not working, and I hope that I book as many of those gigs as possible. And you just get used to the whole rejection and stuff, and I've got a hard drive littered with auditions that I didn't book, and that's pretty standard. So you deal with it. Question?
Hi, so the Sonic Boom recording process, that's like, I think you've said in the past, a group kind of recording style. How do you think kind of the chemistry between you and Roger and Cindy and Colleen kind of grew between recording for the first season and recording for the second season?
It's a weird, not so easy answer, because again, they're in LA and most of the time I'm in New York. Sometimes I get to fly out and be all together. But when we're recording, they're wearing headphones, I'm wearing headphones, and essentially we're on Skype. We're not recording through Skype. That would sound, which you can't have. But we're hearing each other as we record on Skype. We're keeping a local copy, then they send it off to LA, and they put it all together magically. The fun, it's much more fun to be there all in person in one room. But even when we're not, just from the very first meetings of Sonic Boom where we kind of got together and workshopped it, we tried improving, because that's apparently the trend these days. They didn't like that. They said, well, just script it, it's fine. But they wanted to see if there was something they could get from an improv session. Not really. But we have really had a tremendous amount of fun. We laugh at each other and with each other all the time. Some of the hardest parts have been, I will read a funny line, which I have read before preparing for the record. And it's like, thank you, so funny, I'm sorry, I have to do it again. And we just laugh at each other, and that's great. We have a tremendous amount of fun. Question? Please, question.
Right, so when I was playing Smite a few months back, I noticed that you were in fact the voice of Kuzumbo. My question is, if they were to do a very Eggman-inspired skit, would you reprise your role for that?
If they would want me and if I could get away with it, yes. I've got to be careful. Sega and any client kind of owns the voice with the character. You'll hear many characters that I do that sound the same because me yelling just sounds like me yelling. So all of the yelling characters, the yelling sounds the same. But yeah, if I can get away with it and if it's not stepping on any corporate toes, absolutely. I love working.
Also, can you tell us to watch your nene?
Watch my nene! Hi there. Please.
Okay, so I think a lot of us here can agree that that to us, even though there's been lots of Eggman voices, you are the voice of Eggman.
Thank you.
Right?
Currently, at least, so there's that. Thank you.
So that said, you're also, I don't know if you know this, you're one of the few surviving voices of Eggman. With the voice of Ivo Robotnik, he's gone the previous Sonic Adventure 1 Eggman, he's gone the Japanese Eggman. So, my question, can you please tell us, promise us that you're going to stick around as the voice of Eggman for a long time to come?
Well, running the actuarial tables on my life, I guess I'll try to avoid taking any risky behavior. Yeah, for as much as I can control that, yes. But at the bottom line, it also comes down to, we don't want him anymore, bye-bye. But yes, I'll do all I can to stay safe. Thank you. I'll check the immortality thing, how I can make that work. Hi.
How does it feel to be the voice of Eggman for so long?
It's a great honor. Voiceover gigs come and go, and this one came and went almost without me. 2010, when they recast everyone, they asked me to re-audition too, and they were nice enough to say, well, we like you best, please come back. And so yes, I did. So I guess that works. Thank you. Question.
I have two questions.
Okay.
Number one, how does it feel to be in a Hooters commercial?
Really cool. They didn't offer me any free food, but that was commercial gigs are really great because people hear me and they, was that you in the Hooters commercial? Yes, it was.
And number two, who do you think is the best Sonic? Roger Craig Smith or Jason Griffith?
Yes. Yes, they are. Hi there, please.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember me. You came to my school convention like a few years ago. It was a little school upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
I also found your son because we lost him.
Yes. He's here now somewhere. I've yet to lose him, but yeah. He's just fine. He's much taller now. You'll see him.
Oh, okay. All right, so my question is, what is your favorite line from the new Sonic Forces game?
Yeah, well, one thing about what I do is I've got a script in front of me and I don't have to memorize lines because we're not on stage. So I don't memorize lines because I gave up that idea when I left the stage in the theater. What the heck was that? So yeah, I don't have they go like that. I don't know. But thank you. Hi there, question.
Oh, sorry about that. Hi, so my name's Zach. I guess it's like a kind of two-in-one question.
Sure.
You mentioned you had audition tapes that you never submitted. I guess what's your biggest regret of a role you never auditioned for, and then I guess what's the biggest regret of a role if you have one of a role you did get?
Sure. Well, to clarify, it's the auditions they get submitted. It's that they don't get selected. Someone else got them.
Okay.
So yeah, it gets to the point where you do enough, and then you hear them when they reach the air, and you say, why does that sound familiar? Oh, because I auditioned for that, and ooh, that's what they went with? Ooh. Everyone would like me to say my biggest regret is Ratatouille, but I won't, and here's why. If you watch it, if you can stand watching it, thank you very much. You'll notice I play 4 fairly different roles in that, and my parts are pretty good. The piece as a whole may not be, but I have no regrets. There are some parts that I suppose other people have not wanted me to get. If you look up my 2 audiobooks on Audible, they're pretty bad, and the reviews say that. But also the reviews say this probably should never have been turned into an audiobook at all. So other than that, I'll leave that for others to judge. But I love working.
Okay. And are you doing autographs after the panel's done?
Yeah, we can fit in some time.
Awesome. Thank
you. Cool. Hi there. Please take a microphone.
So I've heard a lot of stories about people in voice work going in and expecting to do a certain character or auditioning for a character and then getting a completely different one.
Hmm?
Is there a story like that with Sonic X? Like, did you go in wanting someone other than Eggman and end up getting Eggman just...
Sure. I went in, the story of getting Eggman involved them. The producers of Kirby, I was already part of the 4Kids talent pool doing Kirby Right Back At Ya. They started producing Sonic X. They wanted me very much to read for Eggman. They sent me clips of Dean Bristow. I went and did my Dean Bristow impression. It took 3 rounds of callbacks before they finally decided that was the Dean Bristow sounded like they wanted. Then there was Ella the Maid. Ella came up in episode 2 or 3, and the producer walked in and asked the director, say, did we ever find anyone for Ella the Maid yet? And he said, no, not yet, we're still looking. Why don't you have Mike do it? What? Okay, what did you have in mind? Well, she's a Latina woman and not too strongly accented so that she becomes offensive, but okay, so something like this, I don't know what you want me to do. I did a few Ella lines for them. Came back the following week, recording Eggman. So what happened with that Ella the Maid thing? Oh, we got someone else to do it. Okay, great. Blah, 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 back to Eggman, fine. The week after that, So you're not now really eliminated. Okay, that's what you want. And it makes me laugh to this day because the hell's that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Please have a microphone.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Oh, thank you. What a lovely gift.
You'll have to leave it because it belongs to them.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
I understand that you were originally majored in electronic media.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that go off on a tangent into voice work?
Were
you always into acting and such?
Growing up, I loved radio and I loved acting. And I would listen to cartoons and realize, oh, that's kind of like both radio and acting. But again, it became which has the steadier paycheck when it came time to pick a career. Do I want to have to go out and look for a job every 6 months or every 6 days or every 6 minutes? Or do I want to have a radio job for slightly more stability? And my radio jobs panned out for a while. They stretched from an internship for 5 years or so, part-time work, a full-time job for a year, then another full-time job in kind of radio purgatory as a radio service prep service, producing material for morning shows who couldn't do their own material. That was almost 15 years, and that was the gig that finally said bye-bye. And after that, I said, well, I've got this acting thing because I was doing voices for the comedy bits that I was writing, and then I did community theater on the side just for free. I said, I think maybe this might be the time to switch and give up on the hope of constant work and enjoy the actor's life. So we're doing that.
Okay, so just keep auditioning.
Yeah, that's what I do all the time. Awesome. I've just saved a couple now that I have to do when I get home. So sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Best of luck. I'm sorry, break a leg, as the actors say. Thank you. Hi there.
How did you get the role of Langston Lickitung?
Langston Lickitoad.
Lickitoad.
Him too, both of them. That was an Eric Stewart production. He was directing it, and he had known me from Ultimate Muscle at that point. I guess Pokemon. He gave me my first Pokemon gig as a unnamed grandfather character in the early days of Pokemon. And he remembered me when 4Kids came along and said, oh, look at that guy. And I ended up doing the promos and stuff, and Ultimate Muscle, which he directed, Kirby Right Back At You, other people directed, and Sonic X. He directed also the Pokemon episodes for a while, and ultimately Viva Pinata and Go-Go Riki. So when he was casting Viva Pinata, he said, we're looking for this Langston Lickitoad guy, and I was thinking it could be just you, sounding like you. Really? All right. He also wanted more of a Phil Silvers kind of a delivery, which I could have sort of had, but not really. It ended up being more like me. So it was just me being me.
Yes.
And he liked that.
Can't wait for season 3 of Sonic Boom.
We can only hope.
Yes, we can.
Right in. I don't know. Please, take a microphone.
Hey, my name's Nathaniel.
Excellent.
Okay, this is an unrelated Sonic question.
Okay.
I noticed, since you mentioned Ratatouille, you were in some other Brink Radio productions, What's Up? So I was wondering, why'd you do them?
Again, they asked me to audition and they booked me. And food, clothing, and shelter still aren't free, so I got to get money somewhere. And I love working. I don't judge the work of my clients. I don't say, well, is this going to be crap? They want me to do it. I love working. I'm a performer. My goal is not to perform. No, I had that wrong. Here's my famous quote of mine that I don't remember. I love performing. I don't love. Run that back. My goal is to perform, not to perform in things you think are good. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, also, could you say snooping is as usual?
Snooping as usual, I see. Thank you. I'm not going to say it here because maybe you'll hear me say it later. Not necessarily today, but somewhere in the future. Hi there.
Sorry, go again, but back in 2007, when there was a big anti-4Kids craze and people were criticizing 4Kids heavily, I know a lot of the voice actors Jason Griffith was heavily criticized. Did you ever see any harsh criticism for working for 4Kids?
No, I guess.
Okay.
People seem to like me.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Lucky me. Please, microphone. Thank you. Hi there.
Hi. So I was wondering, are you always doing different recordings in different locations around the world, or are you ever doing recordings in the same places like for when you're voicing Eggman?
world is a strong way of putting it. Most of the stuff I do is in and around New York City. I can do stuff from home if they're too cheap to pay for a studio, or just any number of recording studios in Manhattan. Occasionally they fly me out to LA to do Sonic Boom stuff, but again, it's only audio. We can do it remotely. They do it remotely. It's much cheaper that way. I've not gone any further than that for work on an ongoing basis. Generally, because if there's a studio out of town that needs me, we can also do it remotely. So I've worked with some LA studios and other studios around the country, and I guess internationally, and we just hook up by Skype, and they record me here and send it there.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Question, please pass it down.
There we go. Okay, hi, I'm Duffy. I got you to sign my game there earlier, and I was asking about Berserk, and originally my question was going to be how that came about, but you kind of answered that earlier. So my new question is, that was quite a long time ago, and
400 years ago. Anyone? Thank you.
Yeah, voice of the character of Dawn, 97. Just any particular anecdotes from that? Like, was any fun times or anything?
Whenever I'm working on anything, I have fun, and only once have I been told I was having too much fun. Could you not have so much fun? We're on a schedule. Shut up! Didn't say that, of course, but. Yeah, well, you've learned to take that sort of criticism. But yeah, just have fun, especially NYV Post is where that was done. And Michael Sinner-Nicholas was got me my first anime gig. He was my first anime director in the legendary Demon Fighter Code Show. Legendary not being part of the title, that was just an adjective I've just added because it was so great. And he's remembered me and cast me in other stuff. We had fun just recording because of just the goofiness of it. There's the yelling and stuff. And for those who said that there's an Eggman similarity, I will point out Adon came first. So if anything, Eggman sounds like Lord Adon. The dubs would have been sometime after 2000, 2001, because that's when we did it. Yeah, the Japanese would have been 97.
My bad.
Not a problem. But it would have been before 2003, because that's when Sonic X was booked, and it was 2001, 2002.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please pass it down.
Okay. Pleasure to meet you, Mike.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Let's see.
Mike,
First
look, I'll check the time. Yes? Not you. I'm checking the time.
That's okay. I'm a little nervous to ask you something. Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
First question. If you were to voice any other video game character or cartoon character outside of just Sonic the Hedgehog, what would you choose?
That's a tough question because I don't focus on what I want to be, and I focus on what is the next thing I can book. So I'm always auditioning for commercials and cartoons and video games, and it's a matter of whether the producers like what I do and decide to hire me, because otherwise there's not much point. I can think back to stuff from my childhood like Rocky and Bullwinkle, but that's not really a thing anymore. So there's no... Boy, if they ever bring that back, you can't think like that, because you got to think about the practicality of what can I audition for, and what will I hope they like me enough to hire for. So there's no great answer like that. My favorite role will always be the next one, and often I don't know what the next one will be.
So you just pick your poison.
It's what the auditions come in. I take all the auditions that come in, I submit for them, and then it's a matter of whether they think I'm good enough to hire. I just booked, for example, yesterday I was recording an audio tour of Hollywood, which had nothing to do with me being in Hollywood. It was still a crummy New York studio. But that was, I got the audition. We want you to audition for this audio tour. Okay, look, it's Hollywood. Here's the Hollywood sign, and here's Grauman's Chinese Theater. Hey, we like it. Great, you're hired. You're the voice of the tour. Okay, when do I show up?
Okay, second question. If you were to have, what villain, if you were to have Dr. Eggman team up with, any other villain, aside from, the obvious, Bowser, or, maybe even Dr. Wily from, the Archie comics, what villain would you say would be the best partner to team up with Dr. Eggman?
That's something for the producers and writers to decide.
That's fine.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't think he's familiar with them.
Exactly. I don't have to be. Whatever they want me to do, show me the script. Sure.
Anyway, pleasure meeting you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for coming. Please, question. Allow me.
Good to meet you, Mike.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for coming.
Quick honest question. During season 2 of Sonic Boom, think Shadow will show up anytime?
He's had his day. He was in one episode. I don't know.
Well, he once said Sonic was, we'll fight again soon, Sonic, but next time, on my terms.
One thing about fiction, no spoilers.
Well, we don't know where he will show up eventually.
That's why you have to keep watching.
That's what I'm doing.
Thank you.
Well, good meeting you.
You'll be the second to know.
Doctor.
Hi there.
Hello. To give you some context first, through the whole con, I've been doing a character of Cream the Rabbit, which I had to pitch an idea to you.
Alright, Dr. Eggman, I have this plan to take over the world, and I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to pretend to be one of your henchmen or not. Because what I would do then would be in the shadows and kind of puppeteer from there, and then once you've taken over the world, then I will usurp the throne from you. Or maybe I'll do it myself. I haven't decided. What do you think?
I think I'll have to run it by my committee of experts and have them decide.
You don't have experts. I would be your committee of experts.
Ooh, I think she'd be against it. Thanks so much. That's why we have writers.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi there.
Yep. So my main question for you is, how did you yourself hear about the role of Dr. Eggman? Like, what is the backstory behind that?
Sure, I was doing Kirby Right Back At Ya, and one day the phone rang. And it said, we're doing this adaptation of Sonic X. We'd really like you to audition for Dr. Eggman. We're going to send you some samples. And they sent me samples of Dean Bristow. And then I went home and practiced my best Dean Bristow. I'm Dean Bristow. And that's what he sounded like for the first 2 or 3 episodes of Sonic X before I realized, A, this kind of hurts, and B, we need more comedy. So we added more peaks and valleys. And now he goes way up high and he goes way down low. And the template for that was the Martin Short Jiminy Glick character, who starts up way up high and then goes way down low. That's it. Thank you.
Greetings, Mr. Pollack.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for opening up about your radio broadcast experience.
Sure.
It's great. So I have a question and a line request. Question first, what was it like working as Mr. Kirby in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in 03?
Sure. I was the voice of, they didn't want to really call him Jack Kirby because apparently nobody got his permission for that.
Okay.
But yeah, they gave me this guy. They said, we're doing this Jack Kirby-esque character. And I said, oh, okay. If it's going to sound like the real guy, I should probably do some research. So I went online, tried really hard, because this was 2003, internet not quite as robust as it is now. Tried to find interview clips of Jack Kirby, and there really weren't many. Is he here? No, he's not. Mark Evanier, the animation expert, who apparently worked with Mr. Kirby, I had his email address and I shot him an email. Well, really, he hated being in cartoons as a character, so I'm not really going to give you anything. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Dug around some more, found a clip, and listened to his voice. Realized he sounded like my uncle-in-law in a weird way. So that's the voice I kept in my head as I did the voice, and people seemed to like it, so I hope I did him justice. But it was a great honor to portray one of the legends of the comic world.
Awesome. And then the line request. How much over here? Oh, actually, you just hold this real quick.
Please.
Yeah. It's a good one.
I assume you want as Dr. Eggman. Thank you.
Eggman, yeah.
Thank you. People need to clarify.
Yeah.
This is the day you always remember as the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. Thank you so much. Don't forget that I also do Fastidious Beaver on Sonic Boom. And the mayor. So there's that. Hi there.
Greetings, Mr. Pollack.
Hello.
Proud owner of the restaurant Ratatouille.
Bless your heart.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
We all know that you're a voice actor, but have you ever been a voice director?
Yes-ish. When I was working for the radio comedy service and my radio careers, when I would write bits and I would have to cast them from the available people in the company who were not so great, I would still become just the director because there was no other director. But as far as on anything that you would have heard without digging through my website for old radio crap, no. So no, I've not been a professional voice director because I enjoyed performing it too much. But for the stuff that I wrote where I had to make sure it sounded right, or people not getting the way I wrote the dialogue and not getting the joke, I will
Was it at
correct.
least easy to work with the actors? That's the thing.
Again, it's a rough question because none of them at the time were actual actors. So, no, I guess the answer is no. I haven't been a director with actual actors yet, to my own satisfaction.
If you say so.
Yes, I think I just did. Hi there.
Hi. So, as since you're known in the community of video games as Dr. Eggman, the voice of Dr. Eggman, have you used that to your advantage, or do you have a story? I don't want, that sounds bad, I know. But it's like...
Oh, the parties, the wild party! No.
I mean, using it to get, like, another gig and to, like, on your resume, be like, oh, hey, it's Dr. Eggman guy.
Yeah, I would like to say that I have, but in the grand scheme of things, I guess the bubble is now the term. When you're inside the bubble, it's like, oh, everything's Sonic and Eggman. Outside the bubble, not so much. So in the commercial world, when I go to auditions, I'm just Mr. Average, Ordinary, Unknown Guy with a bunch of other average, ordinary, unknown guys. There have been a couple of times, and here are some good stories to share. One of the other gigs, if you dig through the crap of mine that's online, did some Turkish soap operas, as you do. There was a company from Turkey said, we have endless amounts of money and we want to dub our own stuff and we need people. So I got to do one of those. And in one show, I was playing the abusive father to some young girl. They hired an actual girl to do the girl. We recorded separately. But as I was told by the director later, so we had this girl in the studio, and she was recording lines, and she heard your part because you recorded before, and you were berating her and beating the crap out of her. And she said, "Is that Dr. Eggman?" So that happens occasionally. And then other people going to studios, engineers and stuff, are into the gaming world. Say, oh, you're from Dr. Eggman, I love your stuff. Great. Now we have to do this boring commercial about hemorrhoid cream. Have a good day. All right. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Please pass it down. Time-wise, you're good? Great. Hi there.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to be here.
Would it be alright if I recorded you saying 2 minutes?
Sure.
First one would be get a load of this.
Get a load of this!
And second one would be I'll get you next time, Hedgehog.
I'll get you next time, Hedgehog! Please. Hi there.
I have heard from other interviewers, other voice actors, and I want to know, what was the hardest part being, and not only just Eggman, but the other Sonic characters like Festivus Beaver and the Mayor. What was the hardest line you had to do?
It's the hardest parts, especially in Boom when we record more or less live, is if I have a scene with myself. And Eggman and the Mayor have had scenes. Eggman and Fastidious Beaver have had scenes. And I know that people have done that in the past, but I've never really tried to do it because generally I'm playing either one character, or if I'm playing 2 characters, it's a dub and we're recording separately anyway. I would do all of one character, come back for all of the other character. But they wanted these done live. So much like some of my other acting friends who often say, if they're doing an on-camera or on-stage role, and they're asked a question like, and for this role you'll need to be a roller skater. Do you know how to roller skate? Oh, sure I do. No, they don't really don't. So you just go in and assume you can do it, and I did it actually fairly well. So being able to switch from one voice to the other voice very quickly, and then back to this voice, and make it more or less intelligible, I've been able to do, and I've amazed myself that I can. If you look online and you find me in the new Wonderama, which has come back, I say it as though anyone here has seen the old Wonderama. It came back, and I talked my way. Here's a story. There was a Facebook group for fans of the old Wonderama, and I joined it because I had friends who were fans of Wonderama, and I was looking through the various casting sites one day, found an audition for the new Wonderama. They were looking for kids to be guests, and I said, oh, I should share this with the group. People in the group would like it. And they read that, and someone said, wait, it says no pay, so they're hiring kids with no pay? And the producer should be ashamed of themselves. And the producer suddenly reached out to me and said, you send us this link to the group and let me explain why we're not paying. It's just for your auditions. Okay, if you're auditioning for things and the role is going to be paid, no one expects to be paid for an audition. So if the role will be paid, you specify that in the audition. All right, we'll fix it. I'm terribly sorry. By the way, Mr. Producer, I do voices in cartoons. You might wish to have me on your show. And they actually did. And one of the things they had me do, they wanted to do a live dubbing process, which is not how we do it, but for the sake of television, I found a clip from some guy online that I did a fan project with once, and I found him again because I said, you can take your audio and remix it so that I'm not in it. It's just music and sound effects, right? Can you do that easily? Great. Send that to me, went on the show, did it live, possibly wearing the same magenta shirt, and it almost came out right. Not quite, but within 10%. So, yeah, it's a challenge, but I found out I can do it, and so now I'm impressed.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. And I guess we're wrapping it up. We're perfect timing. Hi there.
So, I have 2 things.
Sure.
Okay, so the first one is an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say, "It's not over yet, Snake"? Wait.
Unless anyone tells me I shouldn't, I guess I will. It's not over yet, Snake!
And then I've got one that Campbell says in Metal Gear Solid 2. This one might be a bit complicated. Might take a moment.
Grandpa puts on his readers.
Say it like you're completely insane.
Okay, the kernel lines here.
The very top.
Very top. The content of this page is created by users. Oh, thank you. Yes. Quotes for Roy Campbell character for Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm slating.
Do you see it?
Yeah, got it. Okay. I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw Space with a tuning fork does a raw blink on Hurricane Rock. I need scissors. 61.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The monkey has danced. Hi, question, please. In our waning moments.
Just want to record like one line.
Okay.
Can you make it through here, Sonic?
Can you make it through here, Sonic? Can you make it through here, Sonic? Thank you very much.
No, one more time.
Yes. Now for the French crowd. What? Hi there, please, question.
All right, I have a line request. This might be a tiny bit longer, but not enough to end the day.
We've got 2 minutes.
All right, here you go. This.
Okay.
Yay.
I assume it's Eggman because that's around the room. As long as you guys could do Fiddy's Beaver, I'm not going to. Long ago, in a distant land, I, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future. That is Aku. Thank you. Thank you so much. Which I guess brings us to the end of our panel. Thank you so much for watching. I'd show you more clips, but don't bother. Go look up Ratatouille. If you've not seen it, possibly get very inebriated and enjoy.